Good afternoon. My name is Michael Clifford and I want to talk to you this afternoon about this piece of equipment. And chances are most of you have never seen anything like this. Now, the first time I remember seeing it, I clearly remember the time. My parents were talking about repainting sections of the house, and that involved doing the walls but also the doors. And I remember they were talking about maybe scraping the paint off the doors and how was it going to be done. So the painter came to the house and he showed us that he was going to use this to take the paint off the doors in the house. And he explained to us how it was going to work. So he used this piece of equipment and we call it a blowtorch. So we'll just take a look at it. There's like a little drum here, and then you light it and a flame comes out here. And then when the flame is going down, you'd use this to pump it up to make sure that the flame would keep going. So what would happen would be, it would, as it were, heat the door and the paint would begin to blister. So it was easy to scrape the paint off. And you see him going back over pieces the whole time, and he's scraping using one hand and scraping with the other hand as he moved across the door and up and down to get all the pieces off. So this is my handle, and this is the drum where the fluid before would be put in. And this is where the fluid would go in this little section here. In the past, it was nearly always some form of petroleum or oil, which was quite flammable. Then they use gases after a while, and today it's nearly all gas that you would use. And you get small drums of gas. They wouldn't be a whole lot bigger than this. And then you'd light it here and the flame would come out here. So you'd have to be careful the direction in which you would point it. And then to pump it up, you would use this up, down, and then you can actually also lock it. So you put it down like this. Now it is locked. It's not going to come up. It's, if you like, a safety feature in this blowtorch. And this part gets very, very hot. And this part also gets very, very hot. So it is a very dangerous piece of equipment. And this would be used to, if you like, to heat so that the paint would begin to lift away from the door or to bubble, and then he would have a scraper to take the paint off. But he would also be very conscious of the fact that this could really start to fire. So you have to be very, very careful and very, very skilled when you were using it. It is used by other people, especially if they were repairing a flat roof and you have a kind of a petroleum finish on the top of a roof. So this would be used to heat it. That's what they would use to make sure that your flat roof could be repaired. Now, we all know what welding is all about, but you also have what is called brazing, and that is where you're heating little things. And if ever you've looked at the inside of a radio, you may see silvery little things like joining little small wires together, and we call that brazing. And sometimes a gun like this is used to heat or to melt the wires to bring them together, and you'd have a little lead with you that you would use to make sure that you could join up the wires that are forming this little circuit that you have, whether inside a washing machine or a television or whatever. So you'd use it for that as well. In some countries, especially the colder countries, you see them using this when it comes to maybe if there's ice outside their front door. So this is their way of melting. They'd light something like this and they would melt the ice to make the footpath that little bit safer for them. So if you like to summarize what I was talking about, this is a blowtorch. It is still available today. And if you go on the net, you'll find some people like to collect these, to collect antiques. And more than likely you've seen when you're traveling around with your mommy and daddy that there are antique shops and they sell old things that were used 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or when your grandparents were alive. And they like to collect some of these. So they're still available and you can get them on the internet. That's a little bit about a blowtorch. Thank you very much.